A couple of years ago now, I made a video that was pretty poorly done. I hadn't prepared for it. I shot it sort of live to the camera, just stuck the video out on YouTube. It went on too long. It was badly shot, out of focus. The lighting was wrong. There were reflections. The exposure was wrong. And yet it was a hit. And it seems like just people like the idea more than I would have thought. So let's do it again. And this time, hopefully, I'll try and do it a little bit better. What am I doing exactly? Well, do you remember when I got a load of mini disc players from Japan? Just a bundle from somewhere. That was just a load of old mini disc players, untested. Here you go, buy them if you want type of thing. Well, I've got some more. Not just those, that'll be a bit quick, wouldn't it? Let's up the ante a bit. I got loads of these things. It was just one auction, one bundle, put in a price, managed to get hold of them. It looked like these were better ones than the previous ones. They were sort of a bit knackered, the other ones, a bit beat up, a bit sort of dirty. These looked a better variety. At least they did on the picture that I saw. No, it's not just those. It's these as well. This is a sickness, isn't it? It's just complete madness. There's no reason behind this. Why would anyone want this many mini disc players? I'll tell you what, there's something about them that just attracts me. Each one's like a little bit of magic in a box, like a very clever little thing that the kind of stuff they don't tend to make nowadays. Well, not just those. Yeah, loads of these things. I mean, I'm not sending the same packet around and around. Here's some more. All nice colours in there as well, it looks like. So, and yeah, this is the last lot. These as well. So yeah, I think there's well over 100 here. And I think what we'll do today, we'll just see what I've got. Okay, now we'll start off with this, but before I get to that, I just want to mention this morning I've put some acoustic tiles up on the wall here. I'm hoping to reduce the echo down a little bit. Now, I've also reduced the lighting down quite a bit in here. I'm hoping that will reduce the reflections. These things, with them being sort of metal coated, they tend to act like mirrors for the lighting and it all shines back in the camera. So hopefully this time it's going to look a little bit better. So let's see what we've got here to start with. Now, of course, they might not all be mini disc players and recorders. Last time there were a couple of odd things thrown in, but we'll find out. Well, I said that they looked a little bit better. Maybe the picture was a lie, because that's a pretty mucky looking thing. But then again, we've cleaned up some lenses like that before. It could be a good demonstration of using the Brasso thing again on there, because a lot of people didn't believe me last time when I used it. They said it was just dirty. So we'll have a play around with that, but this one definitely is dirty. Maybe it just does need a wipe. Now, remember last time there were quite a few with mini discs in them. Wonder if we'll find any like that this time. Anyway, that one is one that I do remember very much, this machine, and I think this was about the time that I was considering buying my first one. The prices were starting to come down. I like the idea of this jog wheel that was on here, but again, I just didn't have the money at this point in my life to be able to buy one. It was only around about 1999, 2000 that I got one. Now that's a nice little player, isn't it? That's sharp, and feels a little bit weighty. Let's see. Oh, hold on. That's not good, is it? It all comes apart there. I mean, maybe these are just all broken rubbish. We don't know until we have a play around with them. But it's a nice, neat little machine, that. Of course, most has a screw being taken out of there. So maybe we could find a screw in another one and then pop it into that one. You know, so we might be able to cannibalise a few. And, of course, the battery... Oh, it does have a battery in there, which they tend to not ship them with the batteries in due to the... all those rules about sending batteries internationally. Let's see if we can get this thing out of here. There we go. I can see why they didn't take it out, because it didn't want to come out, did it? Now that's a different size batteries to the ones I normally have. These lithium-ion batteries, they're going to be mostly shot by now, I'd imagine. And of course then it's about finding a charger to fit into there. So some of these might not be playable just down to the batteries. Now, Kenwood. I always wonder who made these machines for these companies, because, you know, there's probably just a couple of people making them and sticking loads of different labels on. I can't imagine. I mean, that looks, that mechanism on there, I'm sure I've seen that on a Sharp. But, yeah, nice little machine again. And this is one of these very lightweight Sharps, which were very convenient for carrying around just playing mini discs. You know, they weren't recorders, but tend to be really quite flimsy as well, maybe a bit too lightweight. And this Panasonic, that's got a bit more heft to it, a bit more quality. Haven't found any mini discs in these yet, but these don't look too bad. Nice little player, that one. Those use that weird remote control headphone socket, so you kind of have an outer section on it, and then the normal, I think it's like a 4-pole plug that goes in the middle. I don't know if I've got one of those. So let's have a look at that one. Now that one's a bit more beat up. Still no mini discs. We might not be getting any this time. So I don't know how many of these I'm going to get to work. These ones that use this standard gumstick battery like that, those ones I can stick a battery in and we'll find out. But there's a couple of these that might be a little bit odd for me because I don't have the right stuff. So there we go, that's the first lot. Out of those, the pick of the bunch, well, I quite like the Kenwood actually. I like the design on the front of that there. And of course that'll be a recorder as well, so that's probably a quality one, but whether or not we could ever get it working, I'm not sure. Pity these things don't take double A's, isn't it? And you'd be up and running in no time. In fact, I don't even know how you're going to use that one. It'll have a battery pack that goes on the back there, won't it? DC in 5 volts, at least we can try it with that, can't we? Right, okay, so that's the first bunch, all out of the centre of the camera. See, I'm still not getting this quite right yet, this angle. What's happening is, the camera is up here and my hands need to be down there, and it's all off centre. I need to be able to look at the things. I've got the camera pointing at the side. I should sort of draw a square here, shouldn't I, as to where the centre of it is. Well, if I put a mark on my counter with a little bit of white tack there, say white tack, it's a bit grubby that, isn't it? I know where the centre is now, so there we go. Right, I'll try and keep them around that area from now on, I promise. Let's move on to the next lot. There we go, that looks a bit more like it. So hopefully that first batch were the kind of nasty ones, and now we're on to the quality stuff. There's at least some ones with nice colour in here. Now this wrapping was done by the auction company. I'm sure they were just sent them loose in a big box. So the auction delivery company have repacked all these at great expense. These are looking a little bit nicer though. Oh, and there's a couple of nasty ones there. But overall, not bad that. Okay, we'll start with these over here, and definitely a better mix than last time. They're a bit samey, the other ones, whereas these, we've got a variety in here. We've got quite a few recorders, for example, and ones that I just haven't seen before as well. The last time it seemed to be a load of JVCs, and oh well, I should say Victor. They were Victor branded, being from Japan, but here we've got quite a lot of Sonys. Panasonic, I don't think I've ever seen that one before. Hold on, no. So, some interesting ones here. See, that's a Sony. It looks a lot like those Victor ones, those JVCs. You can see the issue I'm having with the lights here still, even though I've got them right down now. I've got the reflections all over there, so hopefully you don't mind a few reflections. But yeah, that's a very simple Sony one. That's a lot more basic than I've seen from them. And then a Net MD Sharp machine here. That's nice to see. I don't think I'm going to get any Minidisc today in these, am I? The other time I got like one every few, so I haven't seen any yet. That's a really nice little Sharp, that. Most of the Sharps I see are a bit kind of clunky. This shows they got a bit more sophisticated. So another Sony there. I can see there's nothing inside there. The front seems to be sort of delaminating, and doesn't look like it closes very well either. I think that one might be a dud, but we'll find out. Yeah, it's popped open again. And this one, this is a weird design, this, isn't it? Look at this. Where's the front? Well, I suppose that's the back. It's a bit crusty as well. That's not closing. Unusual type of connectors on the bottom. It's like a hole button. So how do you get into this? It looks like something kind of folds back. I'm not quite sure. Oh, eject with an arrow that way. So you put, oh, that's odd, isn't it? So it's always like ready to eject, that one. Tiny little display on there. Track number, that's all it shows. That's an MZE 800. I think it says, yeah, 800. Never seen one of those. Unusual design, that one. Anyway, right. Now we saw one of these last time, these Panasonics. They did them in various different colours. Not really my favourite, that, a bit basic looking. Someone's got a, if I don't say the right name, who is it, Daisy Duck, is it? Anyway, right. Now this was a later one. This is a Type R recording, so it was Type R then Type S. As the Minidisc 8-track thing advanced, we've got like type 4.5 and 4.3. I forget the numbers, but then it goes R, then S at the end. So this is pretty near the end. And it's just a nice little machine, that one. So again, another recorder. We're getting a few bits on the counter here. Something's shredding bits of plastic. It might be that one. But yeah, that's a nice one. I think some of these should work, you know. Now again, that's posh, isn't it? Oh, I like the look of that one. Panasonic SJMR240. I hope you're memorising all these. Oh, what's this on the back? I don't know if anyone is able to decode that information. Probably a bit small on the camera. But again, no battery in that one. But some of these are cleaned up quite nicely. Now this is one that I spotted when I opened that I hadn't seen before. Again, another unusual Sony with that MD logo there, the same as that one. And I don't think they use that on all of them. It's definitely down to, we've got kind of years there, because we've got that Walkman logo on there. Maybe I should know what year they use that, but how'd you get into this one? Oh, there we go. Now, just like last time, I don't know why they had all these mini disc players. I mean, you can imagine it's like from a hard off shop or something, and they're just getting rid of all the stock. But why they'd still have them nowadays, and why they'd choose to get rid of them nowadays, I don't know. I've got to say, I like that. I like that little thing there. Kind of hologram, but not. So that's a nice little Sony. MZE707. Now, I think I had a 90, yeah, that's the R909, yeah. So those are kind of the, as they progress. Now, this is more what I expect from a Sharp. It is a Sharp, isn't it? Yeah. It kind of clunky. They went for this round look on a lot of things, you know, like which wasn't very ergonomic. You know, it was design over function, really. So we've got a volume here. It says bass as well, so I presume you sort of press it in for bass, so you go up and down for volume. Just didn't quite have that style that the Sonys had, did they? They tried, but it just didn't quite come off. Now, there's a nice little Sony. Again, nice, neat one. Kind of curved look, a little bit like if you had a wallet, you know, that kind of nice bend on the back there, that smoothed off edge, tapered edge, I suppose. I don't know what you call it. But that's nice all round. That it's a little bit beat up. That's a MZEH930. Oh, hold on, that's a high MD. Now that is a shock. A high MD. Now, for those that don't know, high MD came at the end of the Minidisc life, kind of, and it was the high end stuff. I've never had a high MD player only. I've just had a recorder. That'd be interesting to see if that one works, wouldn't it? A-Track 3 Plus, linear PCM. You could do linear PCM recordings on high MD. So that'd still kind of be useful for playing back stuff today, really, in a way. But wow, high MD record. See, I told you they'd be better in this one than the last lot. And this one, nice little Minidisc from Sony. I don't know why I'm saying Minidisc. We know it's a Minidisc, they're all Minidisc, but I just remember this one in the stores at the time thinking, oh, look how small that is, you know, when I first saw it. I tended to see Sony more in the shops than a lot of the other brands in the UK. You know, you get like Sony stores and stuff, so you tend to see them. So there you go. That's again off-centre from the camera, but a nice little bundle there. I'm going to have to get better with my centering things up, aren't I? Let's put those over there. I'll move our way down to this one. Right, I did put my dot that I put down there, it's got stuck to the back of my bag or something. I'm going to have to keep my eye on this viewfinder. I'm too busy looking at the players to keep my eye on the viewfinder. I hope this camera's keeping focus. The camera's a Sony, oh, what is it, Z1? And it's the focusing on it, it seems to disagree with the kind of things that I want to do. If I put centre focus on, it gets a bit carried away. If I put wide, it gets carried away. I'm always having to lock the focus off to try and get it to maintain a focus. Still haven't quite got used to it yet. ZV1, I should say. Right, so now these Sharps with the jewels on, these seem to be popular. They must have been quite cheap at the time, because we saw quite a few of those last time as well, with that kind of strange eye thing on the other side. Again, so you go for that circular motif. That's sharps popped open. Now that, see, that's more my cup of tea. I think that's the same as the one that I got for £10, isn't it? This one, let's see if it's the same model number. Yeah, MZE 620. So that's the silver one, and that's the black one. That's nice. I got a set of those. Well, maybe there's more colours, I'm sure there is. But yeah, that's a nice little one, and I seem to remember this was quite a late one as well. I'm sure this was a A-Track R, or perhaps even A-Track S. A Type S, it says on there, yeah. So one of the last ones. Now that looks quality. It's pretty dirty, but an Iowa, I think that's our first Iowa we've come across here. And it does have some quality feel to that one. Still no mini discs though. But yeah, that one would clean up quite nice, wouldn't it? Now, quite a lot of these in the past, when I looked at them, had dodgy battery contacts, you know, that were all rusted. These ones look okay, so they could work if I put a battery in them. Now, the Panasonics, this is one we had last time with this unusual eject mechanism, where it kind of lifts up like that with this lever on the side. Again, quite nice, but we've seen it before. Now that's that bent Sony again, isn't it? With a nice curve on the corner. So just like that one. Oh, that's a 930. That's a 630. So that's our high MD one. And no doubt when that came out, this was the standard Walkman version and the high MD version. Pity that one's not in as good a condition as that, because that looks really like almost new, doesn't it? I mean, that looks perfect. But that's just a MDLP machine, that one, rather than a high MD. But yeah, you could buy that now and you wouldn't know that it had been used at all. Very nice. Now, that Sharp with a... This time they've not gone for the circular design. This must have been a different year. MDJ. Okay. Let's get into this. Well, that could work, couldn't it? Yep. This is another nice Sony, and I haven't seen this design either. MZE 700. I think I've probably seen some of these in pictures in catalogues, but I've never seen them in person. And again, that's a nice sleek machine, and I'm sure that'll work. Personal disk memory. Portable mini disc player. Personal disk memory. Not sure what they're talking about there. I'm sure someone will know. Right, another jeweled Sharp. I think we've seen enough of these. They do feel like really cheap, these though. Somebody's put some hearts on there though, and they've sort of pointed it towards that. I wonder if that's so they could feel it a little bit better due to the Sharp's silly circular design. Another Sharp, little bit of colour in there. I do appreciate these little touches like that. And these things all need a good wipe down. So yeah, that would be something that I could do in another video. Let's clean them up and see how much better they look once they've had a good clean. Another little colourful bit there. But yeah, quite a basic Sharp. I seem to remember having a couple of things like this last time, and none of them worked, so wouldn't hold out too much hope for those. And another interesting Sony. Look at this. Digital sound preset. And we've got, presumably, like, you know, the usual thing, mega bass and all that kind of stuff. Where is it? Digital sound preset. Off 1 or 2. So no doubt that's... I don't know, different sort of equalisations, I suppose. But an interesting little design again. You wonder how many of these came out in the West, because I don't remember quite a few of these Sonys. And then a Sharp. Is it just me, or are the Sharp ones especially ugly generally? They just feel nasty as well. Yeah, I imagine they were cheap. I remember quite a lot of Sharp stuff was cheap. That one's got a broken battery door on it, so that one's not going to work again. I mean, you could sort of pull other ones apart perhaps and make it into this, but if I was pulling anything apart, it'd be this to use on something else, because... Right, but yeah, let's bring them all back in. Okay, well that was the first big bag. I'm going to take a break now after this, have a coffee or something, so I'll keep my energy levels up. But the pick of this lot definitely is that, the high MD player. I'm amazed there's a high MD machine in with all these. I mean, they're pretty rare, the high MD stuff. I had a high MD machine straight before, immediately before I had my first iPod. I got the iPod, the first colour one that came out. They started to come down a little bit in price by then, and I was on a high MD at the time, and I ended up selling off my high MD stuff so I could afford it, because I didn't have loads of money. But I've got high MD machines now, but not one of those. So, well, I have now, so let's hope it works later on when we ever play around with these things. So there you go, that's bundle number 2. I'm having a break. I suggest you have one too. Let's pop an advert up on the screen, earn some money back so I can halfway pay for these. By the way, these things all in, I think I spent 500 quid or so, maybe a bit more. I didn't really add it up because it'd probably make me sick if I did. So yeah, perhaps not the wisest investment, hence why now you're watching an annoying advert. Unless, of course, you're on YouTube Premium or whatever it's called this week. Okay, we're back. Now, there are 3 more of these. Well, this is one of the 3. So after we get through this one, we'll have a play around with a couple of the ones that we've already unwrapped. I've put 2 to one side that I liked particularly, so we'll just see if we can get either of those working. So it's not just one big unboxing, but that's pretty much what it is at the moment, isn't it? And quite a few more interesting looking ones in here as well. Really great bundle this. I'm made up with what I've got here, because the first time I did this, and we got those other ones, I mean, there were some reasonable ones in there, but it was like few and far between when you saw one that you thought, oh, that's a nice one. Look at this. Oh, I've never seen that one before. That's the one I'm getting to first. I'm wrapping this out like it's a Christmas present now. I've got to get it here. This is, in fact, let's just take that one out before we get any further, because I can't control my excitement. Look at that. An orange camouflage Sony. That's brilliant, isn't it? What a beautiful looking thing. Look at that, with a sort of control on the side there. It almost looks like that should come off and act as a remote control. But I don't think it does. It says remote there with headphone socket, but I don't know. Does that... It's got a hold button on it. I don't think that'll come off. That'll just go to open it, isn't it, surely? I hope that one works. That's a beautiful one, isn't it? I've never seen one of those. Made up with that. There's another one there, look. Same one again, but in black. Gotta say I like the orange one. I'm interrupting myself here. I'll get these out of it. Right, put it to one side. Now, this is a white version of the silver one we saw earlier on, the MZR 900. But yeah, nice little one. Let's not spend too long on these. Panasonic with a kind of looks like an evil eye at the top that watches you, and that's got a slightly weird eject mechanism on it again. Panasonic love their weird eject mechanisms. Look at this, the whole like half lifts up, so you can see through it. Must have had a reason for it, but nobody knows what it is nowadays. That looks like a kind of a cigarette lighter kind of effect. You know, the coating on there. Imagine it on like a Dunhill cigarette lighter or something. Right, now here we go. This is going back a bit now. We're going old school. The MZ-E3. So you can tell we're old because we start with the MZ-E1, E2 and E3. So this is one of the smaller ones from like is it the 3rd generation or the 2nd generation? Of course, this is a player. And I've got the recorder version of this somewhere as well. Let me dig it out. Go on, I can't resist. You know what, I'm going to have to resist. I think it's buried in a box somewhere, but I know I took a picture of it in another video, so I'll show it to you now, and you'll be able to see that I think it's the R3, and that's the recording version of the E3. I wonder why they used E for playback. It must mean something, mustn't it? I mean, R's for recording, E for playback only, but there we go. That's the MZ-E3, the accompaniment to my R3. If I'm remembering this right, that is. Anyway, right, nasty looking Panasonic there. And let me zoom you in a little bit. I think we're a bit zoomed out now, aren't we? There we go, that's a bit better. Right, so is that the umbrella from like that insurance company advert? Probably not. We haven't seen a single Minidisc yet in any of these, so we're not going to see one, I'm pretty sure now. So another sharp, notice again, circular motif. And I thought then, because I'd say we're not going to see another Minidisc, as soon as I opened the next one it'd have one in, but that didn't work. I was trying to fool the gods there. But yeah, that's alright, that one. Not bad for sharp. See now, Sony are going for that round thing again here. We've seen this one, haven't we? We've got one of those somewhere. yeah, we've seen one of these. It looks a little bit like a kind of sport Walkman in a way, that, doesn't it? Right, and these, saw a couple of these last time when we opened that original bundle, and this was one of my favourites from last time. It just shows you now, it doesn't even sort of match up to the ones I've got now. It's like a pretty average, isn't it? But last time this was one of the sleeker looking models from the selection. Didn't work at all, of course, but Panasonic SJMJ57. Right, okay. Iowa, is that our second Iowa? I might have missed some out, I'm not too sure, but it's kind of an interesting thing. That it's a, you know, like a ceramic kind of textured coating on there. Very small little buttons there, but they've got ridges above them there, see, so you could kind of feel where your finger is. So you press the right one. I suppose that was the idea for that, because you don't have those ridges around the rest of it. But yeah, alright, little Iowa. Put those again out of the way so we're not getting too many things on screen at once. Another Kenwood. Now the Kenwoods from last time, we had a really beat up Kenwood, I remember, and this one's a bit beat up as well. I don't know if somebody went around especially beating up people that carried Kenwoods. It might have been a bit like, you know, if you wear a Rolex. Look, 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 look. We have a Minidisc. Right, so a Victor Minidisc. Of course, there'll be something on that, won't there? And the great thing with Minidiscs is it's very rare that you'll get a Minidisc that won't play. So I'm sure that'll play. I won't be able to play it to you, but I'll let you know perhaps what's on it next time. But yeah, it's not staying in that Kenwood anymore anyway. Oh, look at this. Right, Sinner. Oh, now this is where I get in trouble, because I'm trying to pronounce stuff that I don't understand. First off, it's very faded. I don't know how well it's coming through on the camera, but it's from Sanrio Co. So it's obviously like a famous thing, like Hello Kitty, one of his, you know, one of her relatives or something. But it's right, Cinnamoroll. So it's like a Cinnabon, isn't it? I presume tails sort of to do with that. Little sparkles in there. I don't know, is that coming through on the camera? Little bits of what's that stuff called? Glitter. That's what I'm looking for. Glitter. Right, so there's glitter in there. That's about all that there is in there. Made in Malaysia, 2004. That's quite a late one, isn't it, that? Wonder if that'd clean up any better. It looks like it's all faded, that, like it's been out in the sun. Right, now this one, this has had some wear, hasn't it? It shows how they did them, though. You know, this bit's metal, but obviously that bit's plastic, kind of covered with some kind of coating, which has been well and truly worn off. It might have been one of these ones that got a bit sticky. You know, when the plastic gets sticky, then someone's cleaned it off because of that. It's not uncommon, and it's a weird eject, that. It's like a button you're pushing rather than a slider. Yeah, so not a nice one, but looks kind of like something you see in a science fiction show, doesn't it? If somebody hold it up to you, go, you know, like erase your mind or something. Right, I think I'm going mad. Sony, again, another little one. Another nice little Sony, very neat. Not a lot to say about it, but yeah, nice little machine. Now, I've got one of these, and that's, you know, that's the machine I was looking for. You know, I was just saying I'll go and get my machine. Right, so I don't need to do it now. There you go, that's its brother. That's the MZR3 and that's the MZE3. So these are the same generation, and that's the recorder, that's the player, and of course you can make the players quite a bit thinner because the recorders have the, as well as the, you know, they have the magneto-optical head on one side, and like a little kind of, it's almost like a tape head that records into the magneto-optical stuff, and they've got the laser underneath that reads it, like a two-layer thing anyway. I'm not explaining it very well, but these don't need the two layer, they just need the one layer, so you can make them quite a bit thinner. You don't need anything like in the door, whereas in these you've got like this chunkier kind of door up here because you've got stuff inside there that goes on top of the disc, whereas in these ones you just have a little thin door because there's basically nothing in there apart from a door. Right, so didn't need to go looking for that. I'm glad I didn't do that, that would have been a waste of time when I've got it here. Another Sharp with looks like MD headphone player. It's a funny way to describe it, isn't it? I suppose you can't say Minidisc Walkman, so they had to think of something else, but MD headphone player. Bit boring, isn't it? Again, uses one of those Sharp chunky batteries which we found in that other one. I presume it's the same size. And let's have a look inside. Nothing in there. I quite like that, you know, with a door that says Minidisc on it that drops out of the way. But yeah, that's just an old one that's not a classic. Again, we had one of these last time. This is an MDLP machine. MDLP came in I think it was 2000. And then NetMD came in 2001, or was it 99 and 2000? But basically, around about 2000 is MDLP. So you kind of get an idea as to when these were from. The MDLP ones are really the ones that you kind of want. I like the check design on here. Looks like chest, doesn't it? I suppose it's supposed to look like that. And that one in the corner, that'll be a little light, won't it? To indicate what's going on. I suspect, anyway. Either that or a reflector. I'm not sure why you need a reflector. Right, neat little Sony again. MZE2. So, hold on a minute. MZE2 on the left, MZE3 on the right. Why is the E2 smaller than the E3? I mean, this has a display on there. Maybe that was the deal. I can't remember quite back to this era. This is when they just first come out. They brought out that massive, stupid one that was just gigantic, and then they decided to make smaller ones, and they really went for like the smallest they could possibly do. And maybe that was the idea. They said, right, look what we've done, we've made this you were going on the mountain being too big, here you go, take that and shut up. Or if you want something with a screen on it, you can have that one instead. But very nice machine there, big buttons on the side, and yeah, I like that one. I just like those early Sony designs. I notice on the back here again we've got 0, 1 and 2. I suspect that is that equalisation thing that they were going on about on the other one as well. And that's got the same on it as well. So this one, that'll be it, won't it? This is going to use one of those weird lithium cells that I probably can't get anymore. So that's probably not as desirable as this, because this is just going to use a couple of AA's. And those contacts in there, they're alright as well. Oh, I'll say a couple of AA's. Look, we've got a weird battery design there. Maybe it does both. Fingers crossed. Maybe it does AA's or the weird. It'll be a NiCad battery, that, won't it? And then one last Sony in this patch here. This is a beat-up looking little thing. Just check for a Minidisc. That's one that's probably not like a keeper, is it? Oh no. What's this? Who's that made by? Now, I'm sure I've seen this in a Sony design. So this is like a rebranding, isn't it? That says, I don't know if you can read that, Matric, M-A-T-R-I-C, Matric PMD 201. Well, that looks like a Sony, doesn't it? But it isn't, or at least it says it isn't. So, no doubt everyone will be screaming at me in the comments now, Matric was a shop that sold their own things, they always branded them themselves, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm no expert on Japan, so I don't know. But yeah, that's a Matric one, which looks to me like a rebranding, perhaps of a Sony. Maybe I'm thinking of a Victor one now. But yeah, alright, okay, so there you go. That's our first Matric Minidisc player. And then finally, a bit of a heavy Sharp here. Maybe it's got a disc in it, maybe not. Let's find out if I can get in it without dropping it. No disc, so it's just a little bit heavy. Now, I seem to remember that at the time I was getting more into the idea of buying these. The Sharps were quite a bit cheaper than the Sony, as you'd imagine they would be in the UK, and I nearly got something that was very similar to this. In fact, I think my first player was a Sharp. It wasn't one of these, though. I think maybe it was the generation after this. This battery compartment... Oh, it opens that way. There we go. So again, it's using that Sharp battery. I suspect you can't get new ones of those anymore, unlike the Sony ones, which you can. And we just seem to have that one that was inside another machine, which maybe we could charge through one of these 5V DC ports to see how many of these work. But if they did work, I've only got one battery between them all, which wouldn't be a great deal of use. And I've just spotted another one to my right. I don't know how I missed it. A nice little Sony. This is the last one out of this bundle. This has a kind of grippy textured back on there. Can you see that? Like feels a little bit like a record almost. And all the controls on the side clear as well. Made in Japan. There's nothing in here, I can tell. It feels like there's no weight to it at all. But nice little machine, that one there. Just a little simple one there. Right, so I'll just bring those back across again. Right, so there you go. We've got our Sony MZE2, E3 and R3 across the bottom here. But I think you know my favourite out of all these. Definitely that one. Honestly, I absolutely love the look of that thing. I really hope that one works. In fact, let's put that one to one side and now see if we can play anything on a couple of these that I've picked out from the batch we've looked at so far. Ah, there we go. Oh, look, right, okay, straight off. We've got our green battery contact there. That is not going to work, is it? But let's just stick one in anyway. So we'll just put one of our discs in here and press play. Yeah, and the light's not coming on at all. Let's just no. So that's one that I need to clean up, and hopefully we can get that one working. So that one's a dud so far, but hopefully just down to battery corrosion inside there, and hopefully that hasn't got any further. Right, so let's get into this one here and just check the battery contacts there. Well, those are nice and clean. Battery goes in this way up like that. Pop that in there. Oh, there we are. Right. Okay, here we go. Let's try this then. Play. Nothing is happening. Oh dear. And not getting a lot out of that one yet. Oh, hold on. I'm getting movement. Here we go. It's on. Let me turn the volume up. Yeah, it just needed a bit of encouragement, that one. So that is a sign of positivity. If this one works, maybe some of the others are going to work. At least they haven't sold them as a completely broken batch that they've tested that don't work. They've sold them as a random batch that may or may not work. So we've got one that's working so far. I'm happy about that. That's very positive. Right. Now, for the big test, what about our high MD machine? Okay, now, a lot of high MD machines use weird batteries. Not this one, fortunately. Bit of corrosion in there, but I don't think it's on the contact. So, yeah, it takes the same size as battery as the other one. Just open it up, put our high MD disc in here. By the way, those discs are, these are very expensive to get hold of. Because of course they stopped making them years and years ago. Right, let's plug that in there. Okay. And hold switch is on, so turn that off and play. Right, absolutely no signs of life from the high MD machine at all. It's not spinning up, there's no power coming through to it. Now that could be a positive. It could just mean that that battery compartment needs a good clean, and then we'll get the power going through. Yeah, so we'll leave that for the moment. That's our test so far. We have one working and a couple that aren't working, which I think that one looks like it's the battery contacts. This one, I'm hoping it's the battery contacts. All right, let's get back on opening them up and see what else we've got. Okay, it's the penultimate bag, and I wonder if we're going to find any more mini discs inside these machines. I'm hoping so. We've just got that one so far. I haven't tried playing it yet, but if I did play it, it would hit a content match. I know the Japanese music I've played off mini disc before, just a few seconds, immediately hits a content match, and more often than not, completely blocks the video from being played anywhere. They're very strict on that, which is kind of ironic given that everyone was just copying the music onto mini discs in the first place. But yeah, let's start with that one there. Now, I doubt we'll find another high MD machine in amongst these. I think that one was just in there as a bit of an accident, because they are worth quite a bit more than your average mini disc player. I should imagine someone would try and sell that one separately if they could. But then again, maybe this shop was just happy to get rid of these. They were sick of having a cabinet full of mini disc players that no one was buying. I say it was a shop, I mean, I don't know. I just got it on the auction site, I haven't got a clue. Right, now, first one that I saw here is one that we've seen earlier on. And it's this. It's lovely colours on that. Look at that. I don't know if it's coming through on the camera, but we've got a kind of blue on the outside and then this lovely shade of green there. I'd love a car in that colour. That's great, that, isn't it? Kind of seems to change to blue if you turn it to certain angles. Yeah, very nice. Dual phone system, MZE75. I wonder what dual phone system's about. It's the digital sound preset one. Oh, is that a headphone socket there? Yeah, aye, there we go, yeah. So headphone socket here for your friend, and then the one for you with the inline remote control. I haven't seen that before on the Minidisc. It's like the old, the original Walkman, isn't it? With the, what was it? What did they used to say on those? It was, wasn't Him and Her, was it? It was Guys and Dolls, was it? I'll put it up on the screen, I can't remember. Right, okay, so let's just get inside this one, have a quick look at it. Anyway, I just like that design. I think that's really nice. Let's put that out of the way though. Moving on. Right, now this is a classic. I remember these everywhere. This is kind of when Minidisc Walkmans were really taking off. That these were the ones that you see a lot, and you see these quite a bit in the US even. This is one of the ones that they sold over there, the MZR55. I mean, there's a lot of machines that didn't make their way to the US that made their way to the UK, but this one seems to have been sold everywhere. Now, it feels a little bit heavier, but no, there's no Minidisc in there. And that's a nasty looking battery compartment. Yeah, look at that. Very green. Okay, that one might not be savable, but it wouldn't be the greatest loss. It's kind of a pretty normal machine, really. They did these in a range of colours, I remember. But yeah, that was quite a popular one of the range. Panasonic again, same design, with that sort of weird flippy up thing. No discs in there. Nice little texture on there, though. Just zooming you in a bit there because it's the camera's gone a bit far out again. But yeah, all right. I mean, if any of those work, I'd be surprised, as Panasonic's didn't last time. A bit of a dinted up Sony here, the kind of basic machine. One of the cheap players. You can see how again the sort of colour's worn off, so sort of plastic with a silver coating rather than metal on the back at least. Anyway, that's metal on the front. MZE 510. I think that was when they were trying to reduce the cost down a little bit, make some cheaper machines. Sharp again. Not a fan, but all right. Oh, this Panasonic again had a hard life. Maybe we'll get one of these Panasonics working. I bet it's the nastiest looking one if we get any of them working. We've got a couple more here in a bag together. Don't know what that's about. It's like, we'll keep them together, those two, because they look the same. Well, there's a lot of that going on, so... Oh, hold on. Let's get my knife into this. Some information on the back of here. Oh, right. Okay, well, this might explain a little bit where these things are coming from. Oh, that's the battery compartment door there. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, all right. So, Eco Reuse Factory. So maybe that's where some of these are from. 330 yen. Is that reduced to 300 yen? Oh, that door's off as well. Right, so two with the door off. Those are pretty much going in the bin, those, aren't they? Because not much you can do about that. I mean, you could maybe get that back on there, perhaps, but it's not exactly like with shorter Minidisc players, especially these Panasonic ones, which are not the best. I like the colours, though. Can't argue with that. Right, another Sharp. So, a lot of Sharp, Sony, Panasonic, and a Kenwood again. For the pleasant music life, it says along the bottom. You won't be able to make that out. It's quite thin writing, grey on white. But at the top here, these letters have been sort of pressed into it. Portable mini disc player. DMCQ33 www.kenwood.com. That's interesting, isn't it? Having the web address. I think you could figure out what Kenwood's web address was without that being on there. But all right, well, there you go. That's a unusual little Kenwood. I'm just trying to get in there. That's the open for there. Where's the oh, it's this one. There we are. Right, again, nothing in there. Right. Last couple out of this row. Kind of, what's that? Rose pink? That's that colour that they tend to put on certain phones now, isn't it? Ahead of its time there, Sharp with that colour. But rose gold, maybe not. I might be thinking of something else. And one of those again. Now we had a white one before, didn't we? Those were quite popular, those. Still only the one mini disc in all these, but I don't think it matters too much. I probably wouldn't have been playing them anyway. I won't be able to demonstrate them to you, but still. Right, that's that. Let's move on. Next row. This is still that same bag. We haven't gotten to the next bag yet. The next bag is the last bag. You may or may not be glad to hear. And I'm still trying to keep my energy up here. It's not that I'm getting depressed or anything, but there's only so long you can talk without getting sick of the sound of your own voice. I'm quite sure there's some people watching this now going, yeah, I'm sick of the sound of your voice. Why don't you just shut up? I get a lot of people saying, why don't I say less in videos? It's not a silent format, this, is it? If you want those, go and watch TikTok or something. Anyway, right, so there's a nice little Sharp. Yeah, well, I say nice. I'll change my opinion. Not very nice little Sharp, just kind of boring, isn't it? Just like, that's like bare minimum, isn't it? It's like, well, I need a mini display. Well, there you go. All right, then. You'd imagine get that free with a mini disc, can't you? Right, so this is one of the sort of slightly earlier Sharps where there's a bit more weight in it. Again, everything's that circular kind of motif. But yeah, we might never get any of those working. That Kenwood is quite respectable. Notice it's not MDLP. I presume it's a little bit before then, but often the other companies, they weren't MDLP when Sony was. It sort of took a while for MDLP to move across to everyone. But yeah, alright. Another Kenwood, and a very basic little machine. I'm just checking these now for Minidisc more than anything else, because some of these are quite repetitive from ones we've seen before. Basic Panasonic there, that's not going to work. I've just got this experience now with Panasonics that there's something wrong with all of them. At least it feels that way. And let's open this up. Is that okay? I say that. Ah, there we are. Right. So it opens from that side. Well, quite a pleasant little Sony. I think we might have seen this one in silver earlier on. Quite convinced we have, but I don't like the look of this as much. You know, the way the writing's got worn off there. Okay, Victor. Yep, mint blue portable mini disc player. Yeah, the Victors, again from my experience, they just weren't that reliable. Now, this Panasonic has some weight to it. I'm hoping that means it's got a mini disc in it. It just feels weighty, that one. Let's have a look. No, it's just a weighted machine. It's the same as that one we had before. Do you remember with the sort of red bar there? That said looked like a kind of evil eye watching you. This is the other one. It looked like a lighter in a way, because the kind of coating on there. Alright, well, some of those might work. And these are the kind that I always remember. You know, if anyone's got a mini disc player in the US, they say, oh, I had a mini disc player, and they'll show something. It kind of looks a bit like this. You know, loads of buttons, kind of not the later generation, the one where they were throwing everything on them. They kind of got sleeker as time went on, really. But yeah, kind of chunky looking machine, recorder, not MDLP, not NetMD, just a kind of workhorse 1990s Sharp mini disc recorder. Let's get the Mickey Mouse one going on here. So that's a Sony, and it's that one there with the kind of thing on the back again. Yeah, alright. Now this isn't such a good bundle as the others, is it? We've seen some more interesting ones in the other packets. Maybe they put all the boring ones together. I say boring, I mean this is quite interesting looking, isn't it? This design, this Sharp. I think that's 8 hours battery life. Just the ergonomics of Sharps, they never seem to quite get there. It's all a bit like, oh, so that's play over there, and then volume's down here. And what's this? That's track back. Where's track forward? Oh, it's on play. Play and skip are on the same button. See, yeah, you know, just add another button on. Fuse. No idea again. Another rebranding job. Broken battery compartment on there, so that one's not going to work. And that's about all I can say about that. I'm just glad they're not all like that. You know, when I bought this bundle, it could have all just been like broken battery compartments. You can't see on the picture. Okay, we'll bring these back in again. Bit dull, this little packet, but we'll just see if we can pick the favourite out of these ones. Yeah, so definitely the least interesting bundle we've had, and the one with the most definitely broken machines in it, with the snapped off battery compartments and things. But out of these, my favourite, well, I think it's got to be this Sony here. I just love the colour scheme on that one, the iridescent greeny blue, I think that's what you call it, and the fact it's got that dual headphone system on there. Not that I know anyone that would be prepared to listen to a mini disc with me, but just the idea of doing something a little bit novel like that and with the interesting colour scheme is why that one stands out. Let's get on to the very final packet, and then we'll pick our favourite machine out of the whole lot. Alright, here we go, and oh, that might be my first machine. It looks familiar, although mine was silver. Anyway, let's get into this and have a look. I'm hoping for a few more interesting ones in here, and it looks like there are a couple. So let's get through this second layer. That one there looks interesting in red at the back. I'm spotting that one straight off. Just a nice little design on it. Okay, let me shove these to one side and we'll pick that one out first of all. Yeah, I like the look of that. It must be the colour, but there's just something about that I like. Very lightweight, quite basic. I suppose because it's not dinted as well, it just needs a bit of a clean. But yeah, chance of that working slim to nil, but MDLP, so, you know, whoops, I dropped it, or it definitely won't work now. I'm sure it will. These things are either built to last forever or not to work at all. Those are your two choices. One of those again with the pressed in letters from Kenwood, with the www.kenwood.com. I can tell there's nothing in here, but I'm going to have to open them, because if I don't, I won't be sure. Now, that is one that we've seen, I think, before. Oh, actually, it's very similar, but not quite the same. I sent one of these to somebody from the last bundle, somebody that I knew, who said he wouldn't mind a Minidisc player. I think it might have been that model, not too sure. But yeah, that's a Type R recording. Might go back to one of the very first ones we saw then. That might have been one of those. I'm starting to get Minidisc blindness now. So, little basic sharp. Nothing to say about that one. Kind of chunky, kind of dull. Broken Sony. Knackered battery compartment on that one. That's not going anywhere. And look, it's also kind of falling apart inside. I don't know what that's supposed to be. But yeah, that one is for the scrap heap, I'm afraid. Bring a couple more out at a time here so we can get through these a bit quicker. Ah, there we go. It's another one of those, isn't it? Well, actually, is it? Yeah, dual phone system, digital sound preset. So 3 of these we've got now in a different colour scheme. That was the one that I liked. That was the, I've still got it over here, that green one before, but obviously silver's kind of boring now when you look at that, isn't it? It's got the silver writing on a silver background, and this has got silver writing on a greeny blue background. This is like 3 different colours on it. That's got kind of a yellowy orange thing, which you kind of wonder if it's supposed to be that colour, or if somebody's just been smoking a lot. But yeah, that's not a nice one there. No Minidiscs. The old Julie Sharp ones again. Yeah, they seem to like that, didn't they? The weird design. Must have appealed to some people, because they seem to have sold quite a few based on how many I've found over the years. And another Sharp which is falling apart. Yeah, there's like a screw missing out of there. So I don't remember back at the beginning we had one that needed a screw, so you just take it out of one of these broken ones, wouldn't you? I'm sure they're going to be similar size, or at least with all these to go from, I'm going to find the right size. Another Panasonic with that lever mechanism. The thing that I think is weird about this, it levers it from just this one side here, so you get this kind of a diagonal door opening. It just seems a bit of a clumsy solution, but yeah, alright. Victor, right, heatwave.co.jp, exclusive store heatwave. Now, that's on diagonally, so someone's just stuck that on after buying a disc or something. It's nothing to do with the store, I'm quite sure. It's just somebody had a sticker and they didn't know what to do with it. But yeah, it's just one of those Victors. We had those last time with this sort of circular design on, and it didn't work. Basic Sharp, that's that boring one. Remember the boring one that was just blue last time? That's a silver version of the boring one. And it's just... Right, now, again, we had one of these last time. We might have even had one earlier on today. I just thought this was a bit of a kind of clumsy design. There was something I didn't like about it. But when I actually got one powered up, I noticed these have little LEDs next to them. So depending upon what you were doing, you got kind of little flashy LED effects, which made it look a little bit better once it was working. And another basic Sony with a kind of pearlescent type effect there. Just a little simple player, basic model. Seem to have got a few with this kind of effect, where that's all got very worn away on the corner, all the colours worn off. I presume it's just how people are carrying them around or something, but these are MDLP Type S. See a nice one there. Let's bring that one out. Look at that. Well, it's kind of knackered. See the display there? Now, I wonder if that's just scuffed and I can polish that out, or if that's on the inside. I can't quite tell. It kind of looks like it's bubbled up a little bit from the inside, not too sure, but what a bright colour. I've never seen one of those. So we've got this orange bar there and a blue bar there, and that's pause, stop, rewind, play and track skip. So this is the same as that other one with a play and track skip on the same button, so maybe I was being harsh on that Sharp before, but MZE606W. It's an MDLP machine. Oh, look at that. On-off wireless. Ooh. So this would have come with some kind of wireless headphones, I suspect. It's not going to be Bluetooth, but yeah, I mean, cool. I'll have to look that one up. Needs a bit of a clean in the battery compartment. There's nothing inside it. But, interesting. Wireless. Right, what's going on here? Oh, look at this. Dolby Stereo? What's all that about? Maybe Sharp's claim to have Dolby Stereo. I mean, Dolby Stereo is just an encoding that you could have on any kind of music, really. It's, oh yeah, look. Can you read that? It says Dolby H there. Who's Dolby H? Dolby headphones. That's intriguing. Anyway, that's interesting, isn't it? Didn't know about that. So 2 in a row. Dolby headphones and a wireless one. Now this, I like the colour scheme here. Look at that. Red bar around the outside. Lovely bright blue, bit of orange there. Some weight to it as well. Might be a disc in it, you never know. Again, battery compartment needs a clean. It's one of those personal disc memory things again, whatever that means. Let's open it up. Yes, I thought so. Right, we've got our second disc. It only took us all the way to the end, but we can add that to our selection of music. And I'll tell you what's on those in a minute. When we finish this video off, I'll just put them in another machine and we'll find out what's on them. I probably can't play it to you, but we'll find out. So, MZE 700, nice little machine. See, that's again the same as that Sharp. I've still got it here. Thought I'd got it out twice, but no, it's the same model. It's that kind of boring little... I don't know why I'm rude to this particular machine. It was just something that's kind of nondescript, isn't it? It's like just bare minimum, as though somebody just didn't care. They were like told they had to make a Minidisc machine, and they're going, all right, there you go. Right, I'm going home, you know, finishing early. We've only got a few more to get through. Let's bring a couple of them out. Ah, there we go. That's the one. Yes, that is my first machine. I mean, not this specific one. I had one of these in silver, an MT77 from Sharp, and this was right when MD LP came out. So SP, LP2 and LP4. So what I said earlier on about LP taking a while for some companies, certainly Sharp were there at the beginning, and this was, I bought it from Argos, I seem to remember, and I bought this machine, and then it was at sort of around about 2000, and then all of a sudden Net MD came out, and I'd only bought the machine like a couple of months earlier, and I'm like, oh, I'm out of date now. I could attach it up to my computer, so I ended up buying another machine for the missus that did Net MD, so I could attach that one up to the computer and do all the copying MP3s and all that kind of dodgy stuff, but then put them on disc, and I could play that in this, so it worked fine in the end. But yeah, that was my first machine, the MT77, so that's from 2000, because I know it's MDLP was out, but NetMD wasn't, or thereabouts. Right, we had one of these last time, Panasonics. So many little Panasonics that are so similar, aren't they? They sort of, you know, all it is a MDLP machine, just a basic job, nothing different from the other one, but all slightly different designs. That's 2004 again on there. Funny how they did so many that just did the same thing, but just changed the design a bit. I suppose these were like a fashion item in a way, as much as anything else. Once you get to a certain price, you can just pick up a new one just because you like the colour, perhaps. Right, we've got we've got 4 left here. So, there we go, this is our last 4. Now, I remember having one of these last time. I passed it on to a chap on YouTube who said he'd have the broken one, so I sent him off a few broken ones. I think it had a problem with the display, but he got that one working, so that was quite good. I think it might have broken him again though. The ones that I got working last time that were a bit temperamental, you know, there was some that you could just tell worked fine, and then there was others that you could kind of get working and then stop working again, and you don't need something like that. Right. What's this? So, it's a Sharp, it got that Dolby Stereo thing. I wonder if they all did that now. I just did not know about that. That's something I haven't really paid attention to at all. And little case on there. Very nice. I say nice, it just kind of smoothed off edges. That's something I appreciate. You know, when they've got these round, given the fact that you're sticking that in your pocket, you want nice rounded off edges, don't you? So yeah, all right, let's appreciate that one, Sharp. Now, this one, not as much, but this is when MDLP came in, but I've also got USB, but it doesn't say NetMD, does it? Interesting. So where does our USB go? Okay, well, I've got to imagine it's through some kind of docking system. Alright, let's see if there's anything in there. No. Alright, well, okie doke. Fascinating. And finally, I should have saved the best to last, but I was doing them in random order. Got an MZ N920, so again, a kind of workhorse of the Sony range. Nice little basic machine that's a recorder as well, Net MD. So you're sort of 2000s, 2002, 3, 4, that kind of thing. Type S, so yeah, probably 2004 or something. So there you go, that's the last one. Let's bring these out. We'll pick the pick of the crop. Okay, well, slightly better bunch than the last ones. I like that one there, I like that one there, but I think you could guess which one I like the best, the one that's screaming, look at me, look at me. It's that yellow Sony from the back. I'll be interested to see if I can fix that display there. And I was just intrigued about this whole wireless thing, so I'm going to have to do a bit of research on the MZ-E606W. W no doubt for wireless. Well, I say no doubt, probably. In fact, let's just try this one and see if this works. And then after that, I'll tell you my pick of the bunch. But I think you can probably guess which one it is. Or, well, it's one of two, but we'll find out in a minute. I better see if this one works because of the screen, so we don't need to plug it in straight away. Let's just press play. Let's just check we haven't got hold slid on. There it is at the back, so we need to turn it off. Let's keep wireless off. Right, let's try again. Play. And not a lot happening. Okay, well, nothing so far, but before we give up, I just want to try a little trick with the battery compartment, see if we can get it working. Now, I'm just having a go with the contacts down the other end. They don't really look all that bad. I'd imagine you get a voltage through those with no problem. It's usually the ones at this end that are the issue, so we'll just try cleaning these off a little bit. Right, well, I don't know if you're betting people, but what do you think? Is this going to work now? Let's have a go. Look, we have power. Yes. No disc, it says. Is it not? Have I got no disc? No, I have got a disc in here. Okay, well, I suppose that's better than nothing. Let's try it again. See, now we're getting to the point where we're getting the thing powered up, but now it's unable to read the disc. I can feel it hunting for the start of the disc. You know, when you can hear a disc sort of head crash almost. I think it's reading something. Let's put our headphones into it. Let's find out. Something's happening. Not sure what though. We've got the track title there. So this should be playing. Should we try cleaning the laser on this one? I think it needs it. I can feel the motor kind of is a bit rough though. I think there's a combination of things going wrong here. Now I do have some CD lens cleaner from Sony. Now, of course, I could put isopropyl alcohol on there, but if Sony make their own CD lens cleaner, might as well use that. So let's give that a go. I'll just put that down there. I'll go and find a bud to go and put it on. Ah, it's playing. As I was on my way to get this, it's off. Let's try skipping tracks. Pushing it a bit here. I've got the track title coming across the bottom there. I can tell it's having issues though. It's probably having to read things 3 or 4 times before it finally gets them into the buffer and then it's able to play the music. Let's see if we can make it any better just by giving it a bit of a clean. This is what I meant earlier on about these temperamental ones. You know, you can sometimes get them to play a disc and then other times they won't want to do it at all. So not really very useful as a mini-disc player. I mean, you've got ones that work all the time, or you've got something like this that is a bit random. It might just play a track every now and then if the wind's blowing in the right direction. At the moment, it's still struggling. Now, at the beginning, I said there were over 100 machines. I just guessed. There aren't over 100. There are exactly 100. Yeah, so this is my pick of the bunch. This one would have been the one that I'd liked the most out of all of them. That's if it had worked. It's completely stone dead. No action whatsoever. And yet, it's relative here. It's rather boring relative. That one will work. Well, up to a degree. It'll turn on, the light will come on, and then it can't read a disc. So between them, they're not working very well. Whether or not I'll be able to cannibalise these two together and get them working, I don't know. But yeah, that would have been my pick, just because of the way it looks. I've never seen one like that before. So after that, well, the one that was probably the most valuable out of these might be this high MD player. But again, stone cold dead, no action whatsoever. Try various batteries and things. The little power LED doesn't come on at all. So perhaps down to battery contacts or something else. I'll have to keep playing around with that one, see if I can get it working, because it would be worth getting fixed up. Over here on the right, this one stood out, of course, and it's one that I'd like to get working, just an unusual machine, and it will actually play a disc, but if you touch it or move it ever so slightly, it'll just stop. Maybe I can keep playing around with that one, get it to be a little bit more reliable. So after that, I'm down to these two as the ones that I thought looked particularly interesting, and both of these are working okay. That one, again, is a bit sensitive. It seems to only want to play pre-recorded mini discs at the moment rather than any old mini disc. However, if you kind of move it around, it's likely to stop as well, so that one needs a bit more looking at. So we're left with this one. This is the most reliable of the ones that I've tried out so far, the MZE 630. Just a really nice curved design, kind of very sleek, minimalist, but also it's working. Yeah, I can't complain about that one. That is the pick of the bunch at the moment. But we've only tested a few. So far, out of 100, got sort of 3 or 4 kind of working and one definitely. Right, so now let's try and play some of those discs. Okay, now this one appeared to be a recording of a one-man show, a performance, like a play, but with humour in it. There was an audience there. It wasn't a surreptitious recording, I don't think, like a bootleg. I don't think someone had recorded it on a mini disc in their pocket. I think this was more of a professional recording that had been copied across to this disc, and it sounded like this. Okay, now this one contained a compilation, 28 tracks, 110 minutes, seemed to be around the theme of dancehall music. You know, like Jamaican dancehall, but this wasn't Jamaican, this was Japanese dancehall, something I had no idea existed. I did a Shazam, and one of the artists was Rude Boy Face, so I'm going to play an ever so small snippet of that will hopefully fly under the Content Match radar. But for now, I think that's where we should draw this video to a close. It seems a good point because we've unwrapped all the Minidisc machines, we've had a look at all of them briefly, and I don't know about you, but I'm starting to see these little squares in front of my eyes now. I didn't think it was possible to see too many Minidisc machines in one day, but turns out when you get up to about 100, maybe that's where you should call it quits. So what we'll do, we'll finish this video here. In another video in the future, I'll see how many of these I can get working, but I'll leave that for a couple of weeks or so. We don't want to get Minidisc burnout. But that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.